All right, eighth graders. This video is for advanced eighth grade students who wish to participate in the additional 6 weeks. Now, I've always called it the additional 6 weeks. People probably don't really know exactly what that means, but it's pretty much straightforward. So the additional 6 weeks is where I offer our advanced eighth grade students additional time to come into class, receive additional instruction, receive or to be able to use some of the classroom materials and equipment. And it really just gives you an additional 6 weeks to continue creating artwork, to continue practicing your skills, so that for future opportunities, you either get a head start or you're even more prepared, or you get caught up to where you're now prepared to move on to bigger and better things. So I'm going to create a few different videos. There's going to be a separate video talking about some courses that you can take in high school and all the different options. There's going to be a video on scholastics, which is a huge competition coming up right before Christmas break. Hopefully you take a look at that. But really, this video is explaining that you get an additional time period where you can come in. Now, is there anything like legally or like, not legally, but is there anything like officially put on your schedule? No. Is there anything that you have to do? No. Is there anything that you are going to be tied down to if you decide that you want to start this? No. This is 100% up to you and your personal will to continue practicing art. Okay. Now, the reason why I do 6 weeks is because most art courses, when you get to high school and when you get to college, are typically a semester long. Now, what that looks like is that is usually 18 weeks. So it's 2 9-week quarters. Now, although I wish that's the way we did things at this school in middle school, I don't really have control over that. And so your fine arts schedule is broken down into 3 classes, which means each class is given the same amount of time. So, for example, art, you get 12 weeks. Health, you get 12 weeks. Computers, you get 12 weeks. I wish that I could have you for 18 weeks and the other 2 classes you could have for 9 weeks, but that wouldn't be fair, and it's not very nice of me to say about the other classes, because I think the other classes are great, and I would never say that to begin with. So typically I would love to have everybody for a full semester. There are a few middle schools that I believe do that. Most middle schools actually only have art for 9 weeks. A lot of middle schools only have art 2 days a week. Some middle schools have art for 6 weeks. Okay, so I guess 12 weeks isn't so bad, but I would just like to give everybody an opportunity, especially the advanced kids that want to be here and want to continue to do this, that opportunity for the additional 6 weeks. Here's what I would do. What I would do is I would think about a project that you enjoyed doing, and then possibly think about how you could do another project similar to that one, but make it your own. Okay, now this isn't necessarily a 6 weeks where I continue teaching and continue providing curriculum and things like that. This is an additional 6 weeks for you to do almost what's called an independent study, where independently you're coming up with an idea, a concept, and then going from there. The easiest way to start: what are some of the main things that you need for an art project? Number one, you need an idea. Okay, do you want to draw a landscape? Do you want to do a portrait? Do you want to do a sculpture? Do you want to do printmaking? Do you want to do, what is it that you want to do? That's the first thing. Just what do you want to do? The second thing is you need to collect some references. Okay, so in this class, you probably learned that for the hand project, you needed an image of the hand. For the portrait, you need an image of the portrait. It's always better if you take the picture rather than find a bunch of pictures online. Because if you take the picture, you personally own your references and you don't have to cite anything. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you got to figure out what material you want to use. So if you know you want to do a drawing, okay, let's say you know you want to do a portrait and you know you want to draw it. Okay, well, let's break down the drawing and illustration a little bit more. Do you want to use graphite? Do you want to use charcoal? Do you want to use colored pencils? Do you want to use oil pastels? Okay, so there's a variety of different things that you can do. All right, sorry about that. Custodian walkthrough. He usually does when I'm doing these videos. So basically, you need to have that idea set out and just kind of ready to go before you show up. Now, if you want to show up with nothing to do, that's totally fine. I could probably walk you through some ideas. But that is basically what you need to kind of start thinking about if you want to continue doing this. Now, if you're an e-learner, if you're a remote learner, I'm still offering some availability to you. Now, obviously, naturally, the students that come into school are physically present, so they have access to actual materials. It's a little bit too difficult for me to schedule and coordinate with people and like when to pick up supplies and things like that. It's just, I actually didn't even do that this 12 weeks just because I didn't want to get into that personally. It would just be a mess, and I don't want to put the office workers through all that. And if it was just one or two students, maybe, but rather than opening that whole door up, unfortunately, what I did was I tried to do the best I could and provide you with links to materials. But like I said, if you are somebody that's a remote learner, I still want to give you an opportunity. So let's say you have an idea and maybe you're not really sure what supplies you need. I could always like point you in the right direction as for what supplies to get. I could always talk with you about different ideas that you might have, things like that. And then even as you progress through the project, I could still provide feedback. I could provide some criticism, critiques, constructive criticism, of course, and walk you through how to actually complete that assignment. Okay. The other reason why I wanted to offer you this 12 weeks, especially this year with all the difficulty that we've gone through, is that we've only been able to complete 3 projects. Now, typically, I like to get through 5. Most years, we usually get through 4. This year, it just so happened that we were only able to get through 3. And I think that was because things were a little bit slowed down with the whole COVID and students being here and not being here. And I think it just kind of changed the expectations slightly on this as far as like the timing of things. But just remember that if you're somebody interested in art in high school, if you're somebody interested in scholastics, this 6 weeks could be a really good opportunity for you to actually create something that you didn't get a chance to get around to, and just to continue to pursue your passion for art. Okay, so hopefully this video encourages you to continue after the 12 or technically 13 weeks, just to continue to come talk to me, communicate, ask for help, come up with new ideas, and we can go from there. Okay, thanks.